So first of all, thank you so much and apologies for the delay. We have worked very closely with investment team of Vito. So we thought a lot of things are happening locally. So we thought who would be the better one to get somebody from Vito. And we thought we'll invite them. So we thought we'll invite this time all of you here and give you perspective about what's their house views. And while you would have seen our podcast with Mr. Ashish Somaiya last time, where he talked about the importance of allocation outside of India, because we as a country always feel that 100% should be invested in India, but idea is to understand, if not India, then which are the other markets that we can think about. So therefore we organized this session, and I hope you would enjoy this session, and please feel free to ask as many questions that you wish to ask, and we'll be presenting it.
Ultimately, the question that needs to be asked is that a risk or not of fully being in India? Where to invest? US, global emerging market, Russia, China? That is a secondary question. The first question that we want to ask or answer to ourselves, is that a risk? And if yes, then what's the solution? Because it's a problem. If it's a risk, it's a problem, right? Now, I'm not saying that there is no risk there. Don't get me wrong. But you are diversifying your risk now. Point is that, right? US also has its own kind of risk, as much as a developed market. Japan, which has been an evolved market, has had its own issues for decades, right? Europe continues to have its issues for long period. So it's not that they don't. The point is, we need to diversify our risk. And this is a classic example or a chart that tells you why you should. Where is another question, like I said, but one should. How much is again dependent on your understanding with your advisor and what should be and not should be as a percentage. Right? I personally, for the last 6 years, I have has 15%. COVID taught me that you need to be everywhere. Because given that everyone was dealing with it differently, right? So why global emerging market and not why a US market? I think US market is anyway a large component where people can invest in. Do we have the expertise for a global emerging market now? The ideas that you get in a global emerging market, right? First, sir came in a little early, so we were chatting, or actually he came on time. When I'm talking about diversification, then the correlation also needs to be diversified, right? If it has the same correlation, then it may not make sense, right? इसका मतलब एक ही है. There is a probability that when India does well, these guys may not do as well, and vice versa. There is a probability, but that's the whole point of diversification, right? In fact, if you study all flexi cap funds, you will see that every flexi cap fund will have a factor risk. Some are value, some are growth, some are quality. They'll not all work at the same time. But if you have two of different style, at a point the blended return will be a good return. Same here. Right? So it gives you the advantage, right, of diversification. At least the data tells you that. And we saw the numbers also.
This is emerging market, GEM?
Global emerging market, ex-India. Okay, so now what have we done? Global emerging market, India is a part of global emerging market. The top 4 countries, if I were to put it, is China, Taiwan, South Korea and India. Now, if if we want Indians to invest in that fund, we already have a global emerging market fund. But if we want Indians to invest and 15-17% give or take, already there is India allocation in that fund. It's not diversification, it's duplication, right? Of some, it's duplication of some sort, right? So what we launched a sleeve outside that called Global Emerging Market ex India. So you remove India from it and pro rata allocate it. That fund of Global Emerging Market still continues. This is a sub part. So if you look at Global Emerging Market, it's 0.63, but once you take India out, it is 0.54. So the second level of diversification is available. One, you've gone out of the country, and then you have a ratio which also tells you that the correlation is there. Now, why do we have the expertise? Let's look at it that way. So, as you all will know, this company about 9 years back was founded by a gentleman called Mr. Prashant Khemka. Right? Mr. Khemka was...
Hello. First of all, thank you so much for watching our video. Well, it has been observed and it has come to my knowledge that more than 50% of the viewers who come to our channel do not subscribe to our channel. So my submission to all of you is that if you like what we are doing, if you think that we are adding value to you in terms of knowledge, and we are inviting these industry experts and trying to understand from their wisdom how do they create wealth, if you like this, then my submission to all of you is to subscribe the channel, and this will help and motivate my entire team to come out with more number of videos and continue to add more value to you. Thank you so much.
For some 17 years with Goldman Sachs. There, amongst all the funds that he was managing, he was also the CIO for Global Emerging Market Fund, right? And he had a stellar record there also. When he was managing that fund, he hired a gentleman under him called Mr. Hiren Dasani. And when Prashant left Goldman to come here and form this 9 years ago, Hiren Dasani became the CIO for Global Emerging Market at Goldman. Happy to share, as on August last year, Hiren has joined us now as the CIO for Global Emerging Market. So now you can imagine two CIOs of Goldman managing this fund, together managing this fund, right? Along with all these guys who have various expertise in various sectors. Now, the unique thing at White Oak, the other thing is, in this slide, firstly, you will never see an investment team of this big ever in any fund house in India. Have you seen 50 people? And do you see a name anywhere written? Fund manager. We don't have a concept of fund manager. Everybody is managing sectors or sectors, because it gives you the depth and the breadth that is there. But we have people who manage certain sectors, have commonality and learning, like technology and IT. What happens in India and globally, there is a correlation, right? Can you say as much as maybe a manufacturing? May not be. Cars, technologically, maybe, but sales will differ very differently, right? So if you see this gray bars here, so this is the whole 48-member team. These gray bars are the people who manage the Global Emerging Market Fund. These guys manage the India, all our India business also, right? Our PMS, AIF, mutual funds, everything. But these guys manage both. There's an overlap. Like I said, tech sector, etc., etc. Now, this pedigree is very hard to find. We have a gentleman in the team who's from Taiwan, who talks about and knows about AI, technology, waffles, chips, I get lost in terminology, we all get lost. In fact, any Indian company that comes about, we use his expertise because he's been doing that for donkey's years. Right? And many, you find companies, because emerging market is also LATAM, right? LATAM America. Multiple companies and countries there. So we have people sitting out of Spain also. The time zone matters, and then it able to hunt companies there. Right? So the whole, at the end of the day, be it even in India market, do you look at fund managers? Other than the fund house also. Right? Matters. That's why we built a team that far big size. Gives us a very, very large strength. You'll be surprised as how many companies we cover. $2,400 companies. Can we do that? Yes, we can. Why? Because the team is that big. In India, this same coverage is 1,300 companies. India, 1,000 crore market cap. And we have our filtration process where we identify 600 to 750 companies, and in the portfolio you will find 75 to 150. Because they are managing various sectors themselves, right? An auto guy is not doing bank, a bank guy is not doing chemical, is not doing. So the length and breadth of what you are analyzing is very far superior than you will get as a single person. And that, if you ask me, is literally everything. You have two CIOs of one of the largest funds in the world, now here, a team that is there, sitting globally. So it gives you a third level of diversification that you are with a good fund manager, right? No, but we don't stop there. So if you see, every index like we have in India also, flexi cap has large, mid and small, something in financials, technology, consumer discretion, so and so forth, right? Index weightage hota hai. Because this is a multi-country, you will first start with a country weightage. So you have a China, Hong Kong with at close to 26%. You have Taiwan at 28, Korea is 21, and many other countries.
This is you're talking about the portfolio which you are going
No, this is the index, sir.
index.
This is MSCI index. सर वो है उसमें PPT में है. आपको तकलीफ खींचने आप खींच लो, बट मैं बोल रहा हूँ PPT में है. This is the weightage in the, जैसे BSE 500 में financials का एक weightage है, वैसे first you start there. Now when we don't allocate money basis country. We only buy companies. Automatically what comes in there, it will come in there. Right? Because you can't do a top down. Imagine you had done a top down because India is doing well in the last 2 years. Which we all have, right? In some sense. That's a top down view, no? Here, that's why I'm changing the top down view to a bottom up strategy. So let's say we have China, Hong Kong, which is 24%. We have Taiwan with 25, Korea at 22 or something. But what makes it now interesting is, you have many companies in the world that are not listed in the emerging market, but derive a large part of the economic exposure or business from emerging market. I'll give you 2 examples which a lot of us would have heard of. Louis Vuitton. Would you believe it sells more in Asia than it sells in US and Europe? Hermes. we were talking before, Development Bank of Singapore.
Yes.
It's Singapore is just the listed, right? You know, let me put it in India parlance, flip it. If you want to invest in US market, no, or let's say not US market. If you want to invest in the US economy of sorts, and not, don't take it literally in that sense, but on that correlation type.
Microsoft,
नहीं सर, Infosys TCS ही ले लो,
Amazon, Microsoft.
right? Is that true or not? US banks, when they shake, other companies shake, allocations to IT come down. So in some manner you've playing the US economy, no? If not completely correlation, but you get what I'm trying to say. So you find many companies like that.
Nvidia का भी बहुत शेयर का प्राइस बढ़ गया है।
So yes, obviously, वो तो
AI की वजह से हुआ है क्या?
yes.
अभी सब लोग सेमीकंडक्टर के पीछे नहीं भाग रहे, अभी पहले बहुत भागते थे सेमीकंडक्टर के पीछे।
No, so that is also a very large business.
अभी कोई बात ही नहीं कर रहा उसके बारे में।
May not be here because we have other problems, but worldwide people are still looking at it. Right? So we start allocating money to countries, companies which also have a very high exposure to the respective countries. So if you see suddenly a China, Hong Kong, where I am underweight, now I am overweight, right? Things change. So what you've done, at times, you've de-risked it in one more manner, right? The economic risk, कभी क्या होता है कि companies are doing well, but वो, let's say in India, right now, many companies are doing well, but because the market is bad, prices of multiple stocks which are doing well also are under pressure, no? But if it's listed somewhere else, may not be that same impact, no? So that, those things also work around, right? Now, if I were to show one more slide on this, look, this is our portfolio weightage by country of listing. This is by including economic value, and this is the index. Now where I was close to 6% underweight, I'm literally equal weight in Asia now, right? So you find such many and more examples worldwide, right? And we take that advantage of investing in such companies. Again, that's another level of risk management, if you were to say. No. May not be very large, but it is true. And I'll give you data for this. A lot of people were wary of investing in China. Why? Please. Because of democracy or lack of democracy, right? In fact, it's a very interesting correlation. If any one of you like to read and want to read of this sort, there is a book called Red Notice, if anybody has read that. It's actually a true story of a guy who was the first and the largest investor in Russia. And what happened? Right? So there is an international company that gives what you call a political score of democracy score. And Obviously, we are not looking at ये democracy में करना है नहीं करना है. It's all bottom up. But then you do measure this. As you can see, we are underweight lesser democracies than better democracies. But does it impact? Is there a reason to look at this?
What is India score, by the way? Do you know?
We'll have it in the database. I left it. Now, this is the P. The dark blue line is the P of most democracy, and the sky blue or the lighter color is the lesser democracies. Is there a difference in the P? And usually the difference in the P comes why? Because of the denominator, the earnings, or the growth of earnings, let me put it. That's the challenge, right? It's showing you. So it at times makes sense. The other one that we also look at,
Do these figures change as per the political scenario in that particular
Yes.
countries and probably around the election time or something?
No, not election. I mean, it's going to be more structural, sir. So I'll give you ma'am, there is space here. You may want to come from, it'll be easy if you want to come around. I don't know if you noticed in that slide, let me show it to you. You'll wonder what happened here, right? No, please. You'll wonder what happened in Korea suddenly.
Samsung LG.
No.
कोरिया में 2 कोरिया है ना.
से साउथ कोरिया है, नॉर्थ कोरिया नहीं होता है. नॉर्थ कोरिया होता ही नहीं है इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए. कोई नहीं जाता है, पैसा ही नहीं आएगा वापस. Right? If you jog your memory back and may have read in the papers, in South Korea, a lot of top industrialists have been jailed for corruption. A lot of politicians have been jailed. Right? What is that? That was corporate governance issues. Right? In India, we also have. If you look at it, I'll give you 5-6 names. Vakrangi, PC Jewelers, Yes Bank, Satyam, Cox and Kings. All were very good businesses. Why did it die? Not because of competition. Because the promoter had different ways of functioning. And it died a natural death for sure then. This is what you call corporate governance, no? Which you have to be very careful of. I read this from a very senior fund manager in India. He said it. When you are investing in a company, a set of people can be your best friend or your worst enemy. You know who's that? The promoter and the management. उसका इंटेंट अच्छा है ना, he'll be your best man. और उसका इंटेंट बुरा है ना, he'll clean up the company. That's corporate governance for you, no? It's not tangible and feel. That's the whole research work that you got to do. Right? What changed in Korea is they realize if they want world to come to them, they want investment, they want growth in the economy and everything, they have to tighten the corporate governance. And that change is coming about. Otherwise, why will, it's not a stock to give 150% return, yeah? Market hai, for heaven's sake. So if corporate governance changes, what happens? Your PE changes because you want to give a higher PE. I don't know now, but in the past I've seen this data. Kotak Bank gets as good a PE as other private banks, HDFC, ICICI. But their growth may not be as good. You know why? Relatively speaking, Kotak Bank is perceived to be better corporate governance than the other. जिसको स्ट्रीट पे बोलते हैं ना, लाला ऐसे ही किसी को पैसा नहीं देता. right? You've never heard of NPAs issues of those kinds there, right? Their corporate governance standards are very, very high. So you get a better P. Okay, let's flip it. Barring last 2-3 years, raise of hands or hand on heart, would you have invested in a PSU bank before private bank? If all of you here have to open a new bank account tomorrow for your kid, grandkid, whoever, will you open it in a PSU bank before a private bank? Why? Don't have to answer.
Customer service lovely.
I said I do. We know all the answers, sir. तो अगर कस्टमर ही नहीं आएगा, धंधा ही नहीं करेगा, तो ग्रोथ कहां से होएगा? Are they losing market share?
Yes.
I'll give you one more. If you remember, a few years back, HDFC got pulled up by RBI for their technology. Credit card बंद कर दिया था, ये वो कर दिया था. A couple of years back, Kotak got pulled up. Right? Two good banks. ICICI on technology is far ahead of anybody in this country today. That's a different issue. But are you telling me that if not all, but majority of PSU banks have better technology than HDFC and Kotak? And maybe I don't count SBI as a PSU in some form. Seriously. If you look at every of the other businesses, right? They've done a better cards business than Kotak or Axis or any of these private banks have done. You know, a success of a business when we measure is the execution skill. A leader in a sector is not because they had a product which is very high, best. Majority of the time, the leader in a sector is because they executed the business plan best. Right? That's the difference. So, corporate governance makes a huge difference. Now, I spoke about PSUs interestingly. यहाँ पे भी वही है. SOEs, internationally is called state-owned enterprise. A bank can charge you 20% if they want on your home loan. But that competition keeps you in check. But what did government say or the regulator says? Repo rate plus some rate.
Yeah.
Right? First there was no mechanism there, right? But you still make money there. यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? You see what is happening with airlines today. That's another sector. See, telecom and airlines is the most interesting. There are more players that have shut shop in a growing market than there are operating today.
Yeah.
But the money they made also were highest when they were operating.
खत्म तो हो गया ना?
हाँ.
Sir, profitability and sustainability
Different.
are two poles.
Yeah.
I'll give you a classic example if you on this. Chemical company, right? Let's say I am a chemical company, and he has a chemical company.
Congratulations.
He comes from chemical sector. Right? Now, both have a plant, both have the same top line, both have the same profit. Assume that. But today I decide to do nothing, but he decides to put an effluent discharge plant. He will spend crores. Initially his EBITDA will come down.
Yeah.
बट मेरे को ये पता है इनका बिजनेस 3 साल बाद रहेगा, मेरा पता नहीं. गवर्नमेंट बंद भी करा देगा. You may have heard of a city like Tirupur, Coimbatore के आगे. There was a time where every factory got shut. No, for what? For discharge. So that regulatory risk comes into play. That's what you have to keep assessing, right? There will be a regulation. So, sir, to your point, there is regulation everywhere. But what is the margin of regulation is what you need to always keep assessing, right? And then how are you mitigating that risk? Is the always the question that you are all, see, that's what the whole fundamental research is ना, कि मैं वो मैनेजमेंट को 10 सवाल पूछूंगा. आज आप दूसरा एक जो मेरा फेवरेट एग्जांपल है सर,
एफएमसीजी में कुछ ऐसा प्रॉब्लम नहीं है ना रेगुलेशन का?
सर नहीं है, मगर क्या वही है सर, एफएमजीसी आप किसी चीज का प्राइस है ना बढ़ाओगे तो सेल कैन गेट इंपैक्टेड. सो व्हाट डू दे डू? इट इज दे रिड्यूस द क्वांटिटी, प्राइस सेम रखते हैं. Shrinkflation. Correct? So you flip it. But we will talk about, let's say, regulation or economic impact that is there. Barring the last few years, obviously HDFC Bank has struggled. But एक 10 साल का period था where they had a stellar performance on their earnings. 10 साल में सर आपको लगता है नहीं कि इकोनॉमी ऊपर गया होगा, नीचे गया होगा, इन्फ्लेशन ऊपर नीचे होगा, इंटरेस्ट रेट ऊपर नीचे हुआ होगा, करेंसी ऊपर नीचे हुआ होगा, बिजनेसेस ऊपर नीचे होंगे. बट व्हाई डिड दे सक्सेस? द सक्सेस लाइज इन मैनेजिंग बिजनेस इन ऑल कंडीशंस. दैट्स व्हाट आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट द एग्जीक्यूशन प्लान. There was a point where we wrote opportunity on the ICICI Bank.
Promoters and management were good.
Once the promoter and the management changed at ICICI, fortunes have changed. Like I said, today the IT is 3-4 years ahead of the next best guy. They issue bank guarantee online. Ask as a banker, I'll tell you how painful bank guarantees can be. Right? So, PSUs, let's say this is a parcel of land to mine coal or iron ore or anything. I divide it into 2 parts and I give it one to a PSU and one to a private company. You know the outcomes, I don't need to tell you.
Hello. First of all, thank you so much for watching our video. Well, it has been observed and it has come to my knowledge that more than 50% of the viewers who come to our channel do not subscribe to our channel. So my submission to all of you is that if you like what we are doing, if you think that we are adding value to you in terms of knowledge and we are inviting these industry experts and trying to understand from their wisdom how do they create wealth, if you like this, then my submission to all of you is to subscribe the channel, and this will help and motivate my entire team to come out with more number of videos and continue to add more value to you. Thank you so much.
Intent है ना, and I'm not saying all, but can that majority be there? It is. Let's face it. Majority is suffering from that, or if not suffering, they are bounded by the government. Traditionally PSUs have been run for social or political benefit. It's a known fact. Now it's changing, but it takes time. So here also we look at that PSU, non-PSU. Does it matter? PSU versus non-PSU PEs. फर्क है ना? So, if you recap what I've been talking for some time now, is it a risk to be all in India? Does one need to diversify? If yes, the question lies where?
US.
Can be US,
Japan.
can be multiple locations. But now let's come to the point of why global emerging market. The world is talking about AI, right? And it's powerful. Mind you, the power of AI, not many people are realizing or gauging the power of AI. I did a small thing yesterday, very small thing. In my house, there's a new cupboard that needs to be made. I sketched it on a pen, put it on ChatGPT, and I said, can you design this thing with this specs, this color, this. It actually gave me an output. And I have it in my bag if somebody wants to see it. What I uploaded and what I got. Designer of fun is gone. But the West is only on the software side. You need hardware or not? AI power consumption, adapters, memory, all the things are required, right? Who produces that? China, Taiwan, Korea. I was talking to somebody, ये अपना लैपटॉप का पावर होता है ना, a Chinese company controls like 70% of the world market share. क्या कर लोगे? और वो गवर्नमेंट भी वो कंपनी को कुछ नहीं करेगा, right? Because they also know it's who kills a hen that lays the golden egg, right? They're an exporter. It's not you're exploiting them. As an international company, they are benefiting, right? So you will find those many ideas that are there. Now I'll give you, let's say, look at the portfolio now, and we break it up into two parts. Sir, somebody spoke about semiconductors some time back, right? Multiple you will find, right? And
सोलर पावर,
sir, solar power, okay.
अभी तो डेटा सेंटर का भी बहुत बात हो रहा है.
So data center is again, it's a big opportunity, but data center also will have a challenge. The amount of power that data center will consume, the heat it generates. The largest data centers are where?
USA.
But where, majority of the largest data center are in the ocean.
Oh shit.
Now they're exploring space, right?
Yeah, but why ocean?
Because cooling is required.
Natural cool.
Cooler.
You don't need a controlled AC environment to cool it. Right? You'll find multiple ideas of that. I'll give you, which example should I give? Do you know two of the largest manufacturers for engines for ships and cruises? One is a European, one is a South Korean. Both have different technology. It's like Boeing and Airbus. एक के साथ अट गया तो फंस गया लाइफ भर. What will you do? And both have different technology. So you upgrade and all those stuff. Will you get this in India? Will you get a semiconductor in India?
वेदांता ने किया है ना.
सर बहुत दूर है.
अच्छा.
बहुत दूर. ये इसने यूएस की अच्छी कंपनीज को खत्म कर दिया सर, single handedly. Vedanta and all those borrowed technology from everywhere, sir.
Collaborations.
The technologies today, okay, one more.
गुजरात धोलेरा में फैक्ट्री डाला ना टाटा वाले ने भी सेमीकंडक्टर का.
45% of EV sales is China. EV manufacturing is 50%. Battery 70%. Processing of battery material is 70%. Catalogs and anodes are 80%. Is it a reality?
Yes.
The building that I lived in, there was one electric charging point, then came second, came third, अब 4 है, और 4 में भी रोज झगड़ा है कि आपका हो गया तो गाड़ी निकालो. That's reality, right? Will you get it in India? Forget the diversification, forget the risk that I spoke about for a minute. But would you want to adopt to these future ideas? Memory cards, कहाँ से लाओगे? See, India has a specialty on technology. India there is very little competition when it comes to ITS, right? But tech we don't have as much. We've evolved as a manufacturer of phones and white goods. But do we possess all the technology for it? May not. Right? You'll get, there is this one company that controls, it's a Finland or a Netherlands company, I'm forgetting that. It's one of that Europe, that part of the world. Your Zomato, Swiggy and these online apps, right? The technology that is provided by that company. Even the Chinese company use that. So remember the economic exposure I was talking about some time back? You pick those companies there. And e-commerce or these platform companies, the worst thing you can do is compared to the US market. It's a failure. And it's not because they don't have technology. There is a lot more difference when it also comes to the culture. Do we need a fresh vegetables every day as Indians or as Chinese? That's our culture, right? Do the West do that? They shop for a week or a month for all you care. The cost matters, right? Today the cost of delivery is way cheaper here. That is an enabler. That's not the reason. वो सस्ते में है इसलिए आप मंगा रहे हो, वो नहीं है ना, पर वो आपका आदत है, right? There is a company, where is it gone? Is it in the list? In LATAM, there is a company on e-commerce which even Amazon has not been able to beat in that country.
Alibaba.
नहीं, Alibaba तो वहाँ का है. It's a local company, right? The names are also very weird, so at times you don't remember. I'm sorry, but point is, it's not about the company. These are the concepts which I'm trying to tell you. Ki these are available. There is a textile company that is there. Last few points.
Why do you have active weight equity-wise?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, let me flip this question and ask you. We all invest in flexi-cap funds in India.
Yes.
I'll give you the top 3 holdings. Top holdings 7% HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank and Reliance 5% each. Will you all believe it is my top holding, highest conviction? Top 3 holdings hai? You know what is my actual conviction level on these 3 stocks? 0. You know why? Because these 3 stocks have exactly the same weight in the index.
Elephant, 3 elephant.
No, it's not the 3 elephants, sir. It's a different thing. Alpha आएगा?
नहीं आएगा.
आप तो बोले टॉप 3 कन्विक्शन आईडी है. तो अगर मैं 8% HDFC बैंक लूँ और एज एन एग्जाम्पल 1% रेनबो चिल्ड्रन हॉस्पिटल लूँ, दोनों में अल्फा सेम आएगा, क्योंकि रेनबो चिल्ड्रन BSE 500 में है ही नहीं, दोनों 1% ओवरवेट है. So let's look at an example. This is 5.8% in the portfolio. This is 1.2%. What does it tell you, sir? In the index, the weight is 4.6. The alpha will come from here. Return will come from here.
But it can be other way around also. If this thing underperforms,
Thank you. Do you want an active fund manager or a passive?
no, active, but
Active fund man.
But what matter is the right choice of.
So that is of
Not the active way. I would rather have everything underweight, but very high performing companies.
सर तो फिर आप इंडेक्स को बीट ही नहीं करोगे.
नहीं, इंडेक्स को बीट करेंगे ना.
कैसे करोगे?
Because the companies are high performing.
सर सिंपल है. आप समझो 10 कंपनी है, 10% वेटेज इंडेक्स में, मैं उनका 5% वेटेज लेता हूँ.
नहीं, मैं वो वाली 5 कंपनी लेता हूँ जो इंडेक्स में ही नहीं है, जीरो इंडेक्स में.
Okay, very good.
And I will take, but those companies, if I have a high conviction of those companies, then they are doing exceedingly well.
Thank you.
Then I will beat the index.
Okay, good. Now, you can do this in an AIF. You will never do this in a mutual fund. I'll tell you why. Sir, जितना by divergent रहोगे ना इंडेक्स से, volatility इतनी आएगी.
Correct.
Mutual fund, remember, is a retail product. It's not an HNI product. You can't take that same volatility. Portfolio construct will be very different. And let's say HDFC Bank, I can be 9% or 7% in a mutual fund which is equal weight. In a PMS, I can be 5. In my AIF, I can be 3. Because I can take that volatility in those funds. So that has to be managed. That's another level of risk management. So to answer your question, you saw, वो example है. So the active share will only make money. Now I'll give you maybe
Since the active is very small, actually 1.2%, not much. See, even the biggest active. So it looks like you are very closely mimicking the index.
yes and no. This is only stocks which have weight or in the top this thing. मैं आपको मेरा जो आप ही जो बोले ना, मेरी इतनी बड़ी लिस्ट है जो इंडेक्स में है ही नहीं.
Yeah, so that is more important information.
सर बट क्या होता है?
Than this information.
Fair enough, but these are the highest active weight, right?
That's okay.
But I'll give you another example to answer your question. Let me give you.
બધું લઈને આવે છે.
अगर मैं उस लिस्ट को देखूंगा मेरे को लगेगा आप उसको मिमिक कर रहे हो. It will not give me the.
I am overweight. सर ओके सर मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल दे देता हूँ दूसरा बिफोर आई गेट हियर. यहाँ पे ना 10 स्टॉक का नाम ले लेते हैं आप लोग को, जिसको भी सब जो है ना कलेक्ट. मैं अभी 3 पोर्टफोलियो बना के देता हूँ. 1 पोर्टफोलियो ऑफ 10%, 10 stocks 10% each. 1 portfolio of 5 stocks at 7.5 and 5 at 12.5. And 1 portfolio of 5 stocks at 5% and 5 at 15%. Has the number of stocks changed? No. Has the sector changed? Industry changed? What has changed? Actually, sir, what has changed is only risk.
Correct.
Weightage is a mechanism to change that risk. Outcome will all be 3 different. So that is active weight for you.
No, I understood. Yeah.
तो अब आपको जो मैं बता रहा था ना,
I'm saying this can be misleading for the reader.
sir, this is a standard format used worldwide also. It's about abhi I'll give you examples of to use everybody's time better. I will want to give examples. कौन सा एग्जाम्पल? You okay? While I think of where to give, but let's look at. You spoke of another thing of picking stocks, right? Or look at this, sir. हाँ, ये मिल गया जो मैं ढूंढ रहा था. इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन 0.7 है इंडेक्स में. Every 1% the stock goes up is alpha, even at 0.7.
Correct. So this is the information is more important than that one.
सर उसमें भी बहुत सारी होगी. ये देखो ना, यहाँ पे भी है टूल्स एंड हार्डवेयर, राइट? यू विल फाइंड
This is what will generate alpha. So we have to focus on what will generate alpha, not focus on what will mimic index.
नहीं, but sir, again, TSMC है, semiconductor. I'm underweight here, but I'm making alpha, no? This is stock picking. You're picking the right stock. Right? You can be underweight also and make money because of stock selection. You can be overweight also. Right? And there can be stocks which are not there in the... I can have an active weight of large cap and mid cap and small cap the same by different weightage because it will matter on... Okay, let me... BSE 500 में Nestle का क्या weightage होएगा? Any guess? Just a wild guess. Large FMCG company that existed for donkey's years. Not more than 0.6%. 0.6, 0.65 types. उसमें 2% ले लिया ना या 2.5% ले लिया 2% और वही 2% अल्फा के लिए I have to buy HDFC Bank of 9%. But then you have to manage liquidity, impact cost, and volatility. So a construct of a mutual fund, which is what I was telling you, so will be different from an PMS and an AIF. You can't have the same volatility.
This one is AIF, right?
This is an AIF. So it's a UCITS. UCITS is nothing but a mutual fund for you in the European market. The feeder fund is a AIF in GIFT City.
Sorry, the one which is globally there.
Is a what is called UCITS, UCITS. It's like a mutual fund. It's run like a mutual fund, units, सब होते हैं. Right? You feed into it. तो आपको
So even if it is known as AIF, the nature of the fund is like a mutual fund.
Yes, but you can't. I'm giving you mutual fund because in parlance it understand. Does it run it in the same manner? May not be like an Indian mutual fund. You take different risk if you are trying to say that. So अगर आपको जैसे बताता हूँ, जितने भी आपके feeder funds हैं ना, कोई भी fund हाउस के, they all feed into called as what is a UCITS. इनके सबके पेरेंट यूसेज ही होते हैं. किसी का भी फंड हाउस का ले लो.
So when we say US based mutual funds or UCITS, is it the same thing or
Yes, the same thing. आपको जैसे फंड यहाँ पे कोई फंड हाउस का यूएस फंड होगा ना, वो वहाँ पे यूसेज में फीड कर रहा है. डायरेक्ट मैनेज कोई नहीं करता. राइट? सो दिस फंड लाइक वी सेड बिकम्स वेरी इजी थ्रू गिफ्ट सिटी. You don't have to see the other thing what we are talking about. You don't need to open a bank account internationally. You don't need another manager there. You don't need dedicated person. सब कुछ. Gift City, visualize it, is outside India. It's that kind of a jurisdiction. It's outside India. You can't do an RTGS or an NEFT of the money. You have to do an LRS. Right? But otherwise you get an AIF के थोड़ा units that is there. We run an AIF, so by regulation the minimum amount is $150,000, which at times looks very large, but it is like an AIF, just slightly higher than an AIF if you look at it. Right? There is another way to reduce that amount, which is called an accredited investor. Now you may have heard of accredited investor on onshore also. This is for GIFT City. So the regulation is slightly different, but it is much simpler also. For an accredited investor on GIFT City, two main clauses needs to be sufficed. A, your net worth needs to be $1 million, and half of that needs to be in financial assets. You don't need to go to NSDL. We will only do the accredited investor. You need a certificate, net worth certificate from your CA, and you can give the cash for financial assets. To do this, the regulation allows you to club spouse and children also. The minimum amount falls down to $25,000.
$10,000.
Actually, it is 10. We've kept it at 25. You're right. 10 में सर क्या है कि जो कर भी रहा है ना, जो कर रहा है उसको बाद में ना वो 2 साल बाद बोलेगा मेरे ज़िंदगी में कोई देखो, एक तो अक्रेडिटेड इन्वेस्टर है, 9-10 करोड़ का उसका नेटवर्थ है, 4.5-5 करोड़ का उसका फाइनेंशियल एसेट्स है, वो 10 लाख रुपए डाल के बोलेगा फिर रिटर्न आएगा ना 10% 20% भी, बोलेगा मैंने तो कोई पैसे ही नहीं बनाए, और वो उसका पेपर वर्क और वो खुद भी थक जाएगा, राइट. एंड the beauty is because it's category 3 AIF, tax is taken care at the fund level when you redeem, so it's the tax applicability is only at the redemption level.
Fund level, do you pay any taxes? You don't pay any taxes. So for investor it is just 2 years. I hold for 2 years, I get long term 12.5%, right?
Correct. As of now, as of now at least that regulation is what it is. And we have one textile, we have some companies where are very interesting companies, textile company है, curtain manufacturer है, made ups की है. The scale that they operate is very, very different, no? You have certain companies in India that operate on a different scale. But internationally also there are companies that operate at a very different scale. So it's diversification at that level. जो ideas भी आपको वो मिल रहा है. And de-risking yourself. Now the beauty is, what matters at the end of the day is, for all of us, is return, right?
Yes.
So the global emerging market ex-India, like I said, is now, it started in December 22. Since inception, in dollar terms, the annualized return is 23%. In rupee terms, obviously, it will be higher, 28.2. Mind you, I'll say it on record, I think this is a very high return. I don't think so. Sustainability, you will get such high return. Right? The Gift City Fund, because obviously that started later, right? The Gift City Fund started in December 25, just a few months ago. Is up already 24%, about 0.5% more than the benchmark. And mind you, this is post fees, that is the returns that I'm showing you.
Hello. First of all, thank you so much for watching our video. Well, it has been observed and it has come to my knowledge that more than 50% of the viewers who come to our channel do not subscribe to our channel. So my submission to all of you is that if you like what we are doing, if you think that we are adding value to you in terms of knowledge, and we are inviting these industry experts and trying to understand from their wisdom how do they create wealth, if you like this, then my submission to all of you is to subscribe the channel, and this will help and motivate my entire team to come out with more number of videos and continue to add more value to you. Thank you so much.
So share class A is for a minimum amount of 1,50,000 to 500,000 or $1 less than 500,000. The management fee is 1.3% plus 65 paisa, which is of the parent fund. You get charged this, but the fund gets charged an additional 65. So it will be 1.85 for you, which is why we are disclosing it.
You have no GST?
No. Gift City का सबसे दूसरा फंड.
If somebody invests 25,000, it is class A only?
Yeah, it will be class A only. So this is what is there. Yeah. We will we'll send the presentation. हाँ, अरे ये तो भूल ही गया. most important thing. A lot of people will ask is, how are the valuations at this point? Should we be investing or not? Right? That's the other question. So interestingly, EMX India is trading at an 11.5. Long-term average 10 years is 11.5. But the EPS CAGR growth projected is over 28%. If you look at it, it's actually cheaper. It has traded always cheaper than India and currently cheap also. India's growth rate is also lower. I'm not saying don't invest in, but look at like a Korea, Taiwan. That's why this number of ex-India is at 28%. So it is not that because it's done well, it's expensive.
So that means investing in US is not beneficial.
Sir, देखो एक no, I won't say that. Agar he is trading at 20.5, right? But the long-term average is also 19. If China trades at an 11.5 and long-term is 11.5, you can't say this is cheaper than this, no? In fact, if you say Taiwan may be expensive, slightly. You have to look at Korea is cheaper in spite of this kind of a return. Korea looks cheap because of the 1 year forward growth rate is so high, no?
So I'm looking at the growth only. Here, US growth looks 17%, whereas the ex-China, ex-India it is higher.
Then apart from this return on investment, do you get any other benefits like in IT or any of the sector or
IT is only no.
But this you will invest in terms of dollar outside.
You have to send me dollars.
I have to send you.
LRS.
You have to send me dollars through LRS to my Gift City account. आपके बैंक में LRS A2 का वो एक्चुअल को ऑनलाइन भी हो जाता है, right? Because it's a dollar investment. Like I said, sir, visualize this Gift City is outside India.
लेकिन मुझे क्या पूछना है?
हाँ बोलिए.
Suppose now BRICS is going on so many things. If another currency is coming from the BRICS, if
That is an-
dollar starts declining, that is my question.
Okay, so two questions. See, I may take dollars from you, but ultimately when I'm investing in a China, Korea, Taiwan or anywhere, I'm not investing in dollars, right? I'm reconverting it. I can't take, मेरे को Chinese currency भी दे दो आप, Korean भी दे दो. I have to have a standardized currency. That gets reconverted into whichever country that you're investing in. Point one. Point two, of what you said, BRICS will come up with a currency. It's a large conjecture. It is a difficult proposition. We as a house don't have a view on it, but if you ask me my personal view, नहीं करेगा. The sufferer is seen as Europe. Sir, your fiscal policy of each country is different. Your monetary policy is different. और उसको आप यहाँ पे हिंदुस्तान का ही एक सबको मिला के करेंसी को संभालना डिफिकल्ट है. And then you are trying to deal with Russia, China and us.
Sir, so ultimately it will be rupee by Korea. If suppose you are investing in Korea, it will be rupee by Korea. So just wanted to understand which currency is under which direction is the currency, I mean.
See, you can never say that, but I'll give you a theory that I learned because my master's was in multi-currency. लॉन्ग टर्म एवरेज देखेगा ना दोस्त, बहुत सिंपल है कैलकुलेशन. दोनों कंट्री का 10 साल का जीसेक ले ले, ठीक है, उसको माइनस कर, फंडामेंटली जिस कंट्री का जीसेक लेट्स से इंडिया का 7 है, यूएस का 4 है, rupee will depreciate by 3%, all everything else being equal. That's the thumb rule. Because the market will never let you play the arbitrage. The assumption is what you will borrow a 10-year there and invest in a 10-year here. That's the two risk-free, as it's called, right? Risk-free rates. So apple to apple वो है. तो अगर मैं आज इंडिया में 10 रुपए में लाया डॉलर से, तो 3% depreciate होना ही है रूपी. Otherwise I'll play the arbitrage. But that formula which I'm telling you is all things being equal if there is no other risk that is there. Today why is rupee depreciating? Because the crude risk is elevated. It's not the interest risk or the economy risk, right? The crude risk is elevated. That has changed the risk. अभी यही अगर कल वॉर बंद हो गया, right? ये क्रूड वापस 80 पे आ गया, you never know, rupee may be below 90 in a jiffy. Then what? But will rupee depreciate over a long term as a percentage? Oh, maths will always tell you that.
So, like, may I know, like, in Korea, I suppose we are investing in Korea, what is the current bond yield going?
No clue. But yeah, I'll tell you what, for us we are not doing debt, right? मेरे को तो वो कंपनी का अर्निंग्स, उसका मैकेनिज्म उससे करना है. आज यूएस में इफ यू आर इन्वेस्टिंग इन लेट्स से यूएस कंपनी, एन इक्विटी दैट यू आर बाइंग, डू यू रियली थिंक ऑफ द बॉन्ड रेट देयर?
But it affects because I guess FIIs are also selling in India because I guess I saw data one in 385 days the INR to rupee dollar rate is approximately 13%. So it is a loss for the FIIs if they invest in India.
So I'll give you my calculation why foreigners are selling. Very simple. Before you came in, I think we is देखो क्या हो गया, वॉर है, वॉर के कारण क्रूड पे प्रेशर है, क्रूड पे प्रेशर है तो इंडिया पे करेंसी पे प्रेशर है, करेंसी पे प्रेशर है. अगर करेंसी पे प्रेशर है, राइट, करेंसी और डिप्रिशिएट होगा, करेंसी और डिप्रिशिएट होगा तो फॉरेनर्स को और लॉस होगा, उनका रिटर्न डिमिनिश होगा, लॉस नहीं होगा. लेट्स पुट इट राइट. अब अगर वो दिख रहा है कि मेरा रिटर्न डिमिनिश होगा, आई टेक अ कॉल ऑफ exiting because I can always come back. See, it's not a, currently they may look at it as a structural problem, but that could reverse, right? So right now you're seeing that. So they are saying I'll take easier way. See, you have to look at it in a different manner. How do foreigners invest? They are relative investors. They are not absolute investors. You are a relative investor also. In India, you also have a finite capital. You are relatively picking the company or the sector that will do better, no? You may get a company or a sector that will do 6%. And you have another company that will do 8%, just putting numbers. Will you want the 8? Yes. 6 is also giving you a return, no? But that is subject to the risk also being the same for the both. If the risk is different, then the risk reward is different, no? It's like if HDFC Bank is giving you 7% return in FD and a cooperative bank is giving you 7%, will you invest in cooperative bank? No. But let's assume the cooperative bank gives you 11. You are not going there because it's giving you 11 or higher return. What you are actually calculating is because I am taking a higher risk, I want to be rewarded for that.